Welcome to the Life Endurance Podcast, where we study methods of unlocking your true potential and exploring the greatest endurance race we all partake in, life. Today I'm excited. I have a very actionable item to share with you. It's something that you can apply in both business and life, and that is having core values. So this is something we've probably all heard of at some point in life. And on the surface, it makes sense. Okay, your core values. What are the things deep down in you, beliefs, just missions that influence how you go about your life and how you make decisions, how you choose the actions you choose? But I think it's an underrated tool that we need to get more specific on, and I want to explain how that can help you throughout life, streamline how you chase down your goals, and how it can help you navigate challenging times and decisions in your life. So let's break down the concept of core values. We already kind of looked at it at a surface level, but I'm going to explain it first in terms of how businesses use this, because I think that's the easiest way really to explain it, and then I'll try to connect the dots, if you don't already in your head, how that can apply to life rather than business. So in business, this is a very valuable tool, something that I could definitely dive a lot deeper into, but ultimately it's a very fundamental piece of building a culture within an organization, and what its purpose is supposed to be something that every employee, person within the business can remember, and the goal in remembering that is to make it easier for them to make decisions as they move forward and how they conduct themselves. So what a business wants to do is create a list of their business's core values. What matters most to them? What are their keys to success? And then the best way to do it is make those kind of short and sweet. Maybe they could even be one word, maybe a very short sentence. You want them to be something easy to remember. You want this to always be on people's minds. And then once you have that one word or brief sentence, then you also have a description of the deeper meaning. So the single word short sentences are a tool for memory, and then ultimately there is a deeper meaning where you explain each one. And again, what this allows for is employees, people within the business, they can quickly remember those core values, and when they're confronted with a decision to make that they're not too sure on which way to go, they can look at those core values, and culturally and hopefully managerially, they know that as long as their decision aligns with these, that is in the best interest of the business, or they know they're at least acting in what they think is the best interest of the business. On a management side, this is a very powerful tool because if you can get your employees to accept that culture, accept those core values, then ideally they're going to spend less time needing you to give answers to them day in, day out. They can look at these and build some confidence in themselves that they know what the best choices are. So that's a little overview of how this can be very valuable in business, and most of the big companies out there you'll find do have core values. I suggest you go Google that. Just, think of a big company or just Google top companies' core values, something like that. Give you some good examples. This being the Life Endurance Podcast and not the Shadle Solutions Podcast, which is my business podcast you should also check out, I want to explain how you can apply this in terms of life and how this can be, just like in business, a very valuable tool, help, I think, make life a lot easier to navigate. So just like that business identifies what's important to them, what's going to lead to the success of their company, I want you to take some time and do the same thing with yourself. What are the most important things in life to you? What are those things that make you just feel good about how you live your life? Whether that be helping people, taking care of yourself physically. You could even get really specific and it just be like, always wake up on time, never be late. What are those things that are really important to you? And then things that you know lead to success for you. So feel free to pause if you have time to do this right now as you're listening and reflect. Honestly, I think it'd even be a good thing. Just start writing, just word soup, let it rip. Whatever comes to mind, just get it all on paper, and then you can go back, see what you wrote, and start to identify those key points. And then what we want to do is turn those key points again into maybe it'd be single words, brief sentences, like, so that could be always be on time, or even just the word nice. Just be nice to people. So try to identify a list of brief phrases or words that summarize those things you've found to be important and lead to success in your life. And this can be kind of difficult because, hey, we could all sit there and list off 100 things that are good for you, that are going to lead to success. But you need to whittle down that list to what are those few things that you can always remember that are going to always lead you in the right direction. In terms of business, they typically write a little description about, okay, what does that mean to you? Maybe just those words, you instantly know what it means, but it could still be a good idea to write down a deeper dive description of what does each core value mean to you. Again, the goal is to always have those single words or brief sentences in the back of your mind that then trigger the deeper meaning. So you're not always remembering the heavy part, that deeper meaning. All you have to remember is the light part, those single words, brief sentences. And once you've done that, then here's where the actionable side. So life is just very overwhelming. There is so much in the world. There are so many paths you can take, information overload everywhere, and it's easy to just get bulldozed over by all of that and ultimately going with the flow and probably not making the progress you want to towards your goals, ultimately because you're not taking those concise actions that are taking you towards those goals. And this is where core values can come into play and become that filter, a very powerful guard against that bulldozer of information constantly hitting us from everywhere. You get hit with a piece of information, you say, okay, does this information or potential action I could take align with my core values? If yes, then hey, you can consider it, maybe move forward if you think it is going to move you towards your goals. If it doesn't match all your core values, don't think twice, throw it aside, and boom, you just saved yourself probably a lot of mental energy, potentially some physical energy, monetary time. The quicker you can sort through all the stuff flying at you, the easier it is to stay on the path and take positive action. And then you can take this and apply to really any other self-development tool when you're considering habits, the people you hang out with, the food you eat. Do those things align with your core values? That's where the power of this comes into play. So again, if you have a big decision to make, information overload, very daunting, weight of the world on your shoulders, take a step back, think about your core values, and I guarantee that maybe the right choice won't instantly pop up, but you're going to be able to greatly reduce the list of options, and it will make life a lot easier in terms of making decisions. And then again, in terms of chasing goals, if you want to succeed in life, and if you got big ambitions, the more time you spend making positive progress towards that goal, rather than even neutral progress, staying where you are, the better life is going to be, the faster you reach those goals. So setting some core values for yourself and always having that right on the tip of your mind is going to make it so much easier to consistently take those positive actions and avoid negative or even neutral ones. So for the last bit of this episode, I'm going to share for you what I have identified as my personal core values, and a little trick that I'll throw out there if you want a good way to try to always keep them in front of you and remember them. There is a company online called Road ID. There's other, I think, options out there as well. What it ultimately is just a nice wristband that is originally designed to be emergency information for cyclists and things like that. But what I did is I went in, and instead of putting my emergency info, I just filled the text boxes with my core values. So now I have this really cool bracelet that looks cool, it's comfortable, and on it, all day, every day, right in front of me, are laser engraved my core values. And then I also have a little tag that says 140.6 on it, which is a reminder of me of what I'm capable of. That's the total distance of an Ironman triathlon. Most people probably wouldn't know that, so I better clarify. So that's a little trick, cost you, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks, nothing crazy, and it's a good way to always have them in front of you. So my personal core values. First, I'm just going to list them off. The first one is real. The second one, efficiency. Third one, no excuses, own it. Fourth one, default aggressive, goal in mind. And the fifth, mimic success, learn from failure. Number-wise, I have a pretty good number to shoot for. I thought I heard somewhere that the human brain typically only remembers 7 things at a time, so I would say definitely keep it below 7 if you can, and then realize how a couple of those are just one words, real and efficiency. Those are 2 separate ones, only one word, and the other ones are kind of brief sentences. No excuses, own it, not even a complete sentence. So my plan is to use most of these as primary topics for other episodes, but I'll just briefly go into the first one, which is real, and what that means to me and how that helps me always live the life that makes me proud to be who I am and helps me reach my goals. So real, I think pretty obvious, just being the real me. If you know me, I'm pretty good at filtering myself, blending in, but I never fake. Yes, maybe I'll change what parts of me are being projected, but I do not project things that are not true to what I think, how I desire to act, how I want to treat people. So this is just a reminder for me to always be my real self, which is definitely hard these days. Everybody, you naturally just want to fit in, or there's going to be a lot of peer pressure, very intense sides to every opinion out there. And, maybe a lot of times just being yourself is going to make other people uncomfortable, which sucks. You don't want to make other people uncomfortable. But for your life and what you know to be best, you need to follow your core values. The word real to me is kind of a reminder to follow my core values and just to always be myself no matter what, despite what others think. They can think I'm weird. They can think bad things about me, but what's most important is what I think about myself, and for me, just being authentic is very important. So I'll end it with that, just an example of one of my core values, a little deep dive into it. I will make a separate video probably for each of the other ones and how it can be something actionable for your life. So with that, again, I challenge you, pause right now, go start writing in a journal, reflecting on what matters most to you, identify those easy to remember core values, and then try to find a physical way, like my bracelet, to keep those in front of you and easy to see every day. I promise if you do that, it will definitely help you reach your goals faster. You'll be able to move more confidently through the world and ultimately be yourself, be the awesome person we're all trying to be. So I'm going to close out this episode. Appreciate you listening. I really hope this gives you an actionable item to use and advance you towards your goals. If you want to learn more about me, check me out at Shady Engineering on Instagram and YouTube. Once again, I appreciate your time and I look forward to sharing the next episode.